Hey everybody, just wanted to share some stories with you today. Just got done filling up a couple more flats with some seedlings and was sort of thinking about all the different places that I've been receiving seeds from and wanted to take a minute to recognize those people and at the same time tell you guys what I'm planting for summer. Here in Mississippi, I'm in zone 8A. We're already putting on the hot crops down into the ground. So I'm already putting in corn and okra and those kind of things. So anybody up north, just watch out. It's right around the corner. You better get ready now if you're not ready already. So what's happening? Well, first let me tell you a story about my friend Dusty. Dusty and I worked together here locally where I still live many years ago. He moved off to another job out in Texas, and since then we've kind of been following each other because he started up his own farm out there. And he does a different sort of thing than we do, but he sent me a pack of seeds that he tells me is going to be the best tasting melon I've ever had, the sweetest melon I've ever had. It's called Israeli melon. It has another name as well. You'll have to look it up because I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. But Dusty sent this over to me from his place. It's called 40 Acres and a Fool Ranch. I'll give you a link down in the description below over to his Facebook page. That's pretty much the only way to interact with his ranch out there. But Israeli melon from Dusty over at 40 Acres and a Fool Ranch. We'll see how it goes. My understanding is it's a type of muskmelon, which is about my favorite fruit in the world. So we'll just have to see if it really lives up to the hype. Not just the hype that he says, but according to everything I've read on the internet, everybody agrees it's the sweetest fruit that's out there. We'll see. Next, I've got to tell you about Paul Mack. Most of you guys here on YouTube have been over to the Farm Hands Companions channel and seen Paul Mack. You haven't heard from him. I know you haven't heard from him because he doesn't talk on his YouTube channel. But I sent Paul Mack a message a while back because he was using a chainsaw mill and I wanted to know what he really thought about it. And Paul Mack strikes me as the kind of person that was going to flat out say, you know, hey, I only use that for the video, it's actually a pile of garbage, or hey, I use it all the time, I really like it. So he wrote me back and let me know what he thought of it, and for the record, it's a good deal. He had some tips and things on what model to get and whatnot, but he was happy with it. And then he asked me a question, and because I haven't talked to him about sharing this information, I'll just say he asked me a question and I gave him some insights on something else. And he decided that the sharing of information was worthwhile enough to him that he sent me a pack of seeds. And this pack of seeds has everything in it from corn, different kinds of beans, sorghum, and things like that. It's his heirloom variety mix. And it's really interesting on two accounts. First off, it's got a cowpea in it that has been going through his family for generations, so it'll be fun to continue that heritage on for him here. And second, because in his note that he sent, he mentioned that he apologized for sending him a little too late as far as he was concerned. But interestingly enough, they arrived on the same day I was trying to put some corn in the ground, and he sent me the exact same corn variety that I was trying to plant already, which is Stonewall's Evergreen. And it was really neat because I came up short in my rows trying to plant out my corn. I made one too many rows than I had of corn. And so I was able to finish out the row, and because of what he sent me. I think there was maybe 15, 20 seeds in the mix that he sent, but what he sent allowed me to finish up the row, so that was really neat. And he's got some extra bean varieties in there that I don't already have, so I'm growing a lot of beans this season to go into like a 15 bean soup kind of thing because my kids really like it and I didn't expect them to, so I'm going to grow what I know they're going to eat. And adding in some extra varieties on what Paul Mack sent me is going to be another fun part of having that meal down the line. Earlier in the year, you guys might remember I went over to Alabama and visited Wayne with A World for Change TV, and I also visited Dan with Go for Green Living. And at Dan's place, in his big greenhouse, he's shared some seed as well. Now, I've been trying to get a hold of Dan. Dan uses social media when he needs to get a hold of somebody. But while I was there, I walked away with a couple varieties of okra, some Malabar spinach, and some kind of pepper. And I have to be vague about this because I don't remember everything that he gave me. And it all just kind of got put inside of a plastic sack and brought home, and then sat around in my seed drawer for the last several months waiting for me to plant it. And in that time period, I've forgotten what everything is. So I know I have Malabar spinach, I know I have some Star of David okra, and I have some kind of bean. I believe I have a second okra. I had 2 okra pods and they look entirely different, so I think I have a second kind of okra, and some kind of pepper that I have no idea if it's a hot pepper or a fresh eating pepper or what kind of pepper it is. But anyway, you'll see on my little name tags here some abbreviations, G4GL. That's Go for Green Living, so at least I know where it came from, and we'll just see what comes up. Last but not least is my friends down there at Alderman Farms. Tommy and Patty grow one of those 14-foot tall okra varieties, and there's a couple different names that it goes by, just depending on who you look up, cow's horn and a couple other things, but it makes a really long pod, and they grow like 14 feet tall. So I'm going to try growing a couple of those as well and see what I think about them. And that's not last. Goodness, I've also got Beck's Big Texas okra. Got those on a seed swap from a gentleman that owns an organics company. We met at a little trade show kind of thing, and he wanted some seeds that I had, said he'd mail me some seeds, and so I, on a handshake, said okay, and sure enough, he held up his end of the deal and sent me some of this Beck's Big Okra in the mail. Those are supposed to make some big fat pods. I don't know if they're really that big, but much wider than the standard pod, so we'll see where those go. I'm not sure how I prepare something like that, but we'll just see where it goes. So if I'm forgetting somebody, I'm just going to have to mention you in another show. I know I have more on the way. I've had at least 2 people contact me wanting to send me everything from mushrooms to vegetable seeds, so we will do a different update on those when they arrive and when they get planted in the ground. The last thing I want to mention to you is that we have planted some varieties all throughout the yard. Jennifer walked around with a little, what do you call those things? I don't know. I want to call it a rake. I never use it, so I don't know what it's called. A little tiny hand rake that that gets sold as a garden tool, a weeding tool, and went around the property and planted a whole bunch of watermelon and okra. Well, why watermelon and okra? Well, because both of them, first off, make a ton of stinking seed, and I've got a whole lot more seed than I need. I think I only planted 6 of the watermelon, which was a sugar baby watermelon, and probably had enough to plant 6 or 4 flats just of sugar baby watermelon. So she went around the whole property, and wherever it felt right, laid down some sugar baby seeds in the ground, and then went around and in different places put down some Clemson okra, because that's what we grew last year. And again, I could have filled up flats and flats and flats of okra. So she said, well, let's just put them out there and see what happens. So we'll see. We just may have fields of watermelon and okra popping up because, heck, you know, why not? Let me know what y'all are growing in the comments down below. I appreciate you watching, and we will see you next time.